For somebody that's listening, whether it's a homeowner, whether it's a designer, builder, what are the first things that people should consider, specifically talking about the outdoor kitchen? What should someone think about when going into that process?
For me, and I think the goal behind the success of My Luxury Outdoors has been, let's truly create something custom for you. Or what's your dream entertainment? What's your day-to-day like? Let's truly create something that you are going to be happy with and that you're going to use.
Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast episode. You're listening to the Home Design Podcast. My name is Adam Kayce, your host, and we aim to educate, inspire, and connect South Florida with the industry authorities within their trade. Are you ready to design the ultimate outdoor kitchen? In this episode, we're going to break down everything from choosing the right materials, maximizing functionality, comfort, and style. This is your blueprint for building a dream-worthy outdoor kitchen that lasts. All with Manny Rivera of My Luxury Outdoor. What's up?
Morning. Thank you for having us here.
You ready for this?
Let's do it.
So we've known each other for a while now. You've been a part of the shows. I've known you since before the shows, before My Luxury Outdoors, and you've been a part of this for a while. But before we dive into everything, outdoor kitchens, outdoor entertainment, outdoor lifestyle, who is Manny Rivera?
I think just another Cuban that made it to the U.S. looking for the American dream.
Absolutely. Well, you're building dreams for everybody else, and that's a fact because I see the projects that you're doing. You're a dad. You're building an incredible business, but individually, you personally, you as a family man, businessman, you're consistent across the board, and as far as what you're doing, how you're running the business, is impressive. So,
thank you.
It's awesome to see. So diving into this. We look at outdoor lifestyle. We're here in South Florida, and outdoor is an everyday dream. People are thinking about how to expand their living square footage, especially coming out of COVID. It was incredible. Like everybody was looking at their walls and they're confined. Where can I get more square footage? It's all outdoors. And that's where you guys come in.
Yes, sir. People have finally realized how much value their little backyard can have.
Absolutely.
And it's made a big impact, especially since COVID. Everybody got tired of staring at the insides of the house and started to go outside and really, give it the value it deserves.
Without a doubt. And, there's so many different product selections, materials, designs. There's everything that goes into, how to design your backyard space. But going into that, for somebody that's listening, whether it's a homeowner, whether it's a designer, builder, what are the first things that people should consider, specifically talking about the outdoor kitchen? What should someone think about when going into that process?
I think for a long time, the outdoor world, outdoor entertainment has been very cookie cutter, options 1 through 5, pick one, 2 different colors, go. And for me, and I think the goal behind the success of My Luxury Outdoors has been, let's truly create something custom for you. You don't have to pick, a 40-inch grill if you don't grill that much. What do you use your patio for? What's your dream entertainment? What's your day-to-day like? And that's what we try to ask the clients. Hey, I saw online this kitchen. I want something like it. No, let's get back to the basics. Why do you want an outdoor kitchen? Do you like to grill? Do you like to drink? Do you like to, smoke? Let's truly build something for you.
Right.
If you like to grill, then let's include a grill. If you have the kitchen right next to it, then we don't need a sink. Let's add a fridge. Let's truly create something that you are going to be happy with and that you're going to use.
Because that's the biggest thing. In the point that you just mentioned, people might see an image. They might like the whole idea of it, but there's certain components that they might not be that might not be glaring at them in the sense of like, this is what I love. And if I could do it differently, I would change this and this, because everyone has the want list, but you got to factor first, what is the need list? Like, what do they need in this kitchen? And then let it grow and let it evolve. Because there's a lot of different things that goes into planning an outdoor kitchen. I mean, there's utilities. We're talking about access to gas, access to electric, access to water, drainage, all of these different things. There's design, there's location of it. But I want to dive into location first. So when you walk into someone's home, you've seen endless spaces that you've redesigned. Someone might think that they have the perfect location for it, but what are you looking for initially when you walk into someone's space as far as like the defining area or the best position to put an outdoor kitchen?
I think my first go-to thought is location. What is the most convenient location for an everyday flow to your kitchen? Most people or some people might think ventilation, smoke, or is the kitchen or the grill, the smoker, is it going to retain smoke in my terrace? Am I going to get rained on? Is the sun going to be an issue? Those are all factors that we have to account into, but the most important one is making it accessible for your day-to-day use.
Right.
If you have it and it's comfortable and it's in a convenient location, you're going to use it. The elements, everything else comes after the fact. There's always a way around it. Whether you're building a pergola, you're putting an awning, you're putting a screen for the sun, you're putting a vent for the smoke. There's solutions for every problem that might come after the fact. The first thing is getting the homeowner outside and into the kitchen. Once you're there, I'll take care of the rest.
Question, when you're looking at location, because there's a lot of homes that obviously have like a built-in covered space, yep, that is designed into the home, but then obviously there's all the other space. Are you also factoring in like, where the sun exposure is, or, any type of wind components or anything like that when you're looking at, spaces if it's away from the home?
Yes, those are all little details that we have to account for. Is the house facing east or facing west? Are you getting sun in the morning or in the afternoon? But again, if the sun it's taking your terrace or your kitchen area in the afternoon, okay, let's build a screen.
Exactly.
That is going to protect it. Why am I going out of convenience for something else?
Right.
Most builders now are doing already the hookups for the water, sewer, electrical, gas, right, leaving everything ready in what they believe is the ideal location. And a lot of times it ends up being a very good location. But it's always that question. Hey, is my terrace going to remain smoke? My wife just did her hair. She doesn't want me smoking. Let's put a vent hood.
Right.
Am I getting the sun in the in the evening that is beating up on the the terrace? I'm not gonna use it as much. Let's build a pergola. Let's do an extension. Let's put a screen. The first idea should be, where am I going to use it the most? Where am I going to enjoy it the most? And the rest is just only add-ons that we take care of for you to utilize it on your daily basis.
Without it, and that all makes sense. And there's so many incredible things that are to market. I mean, we see these incredible louvered pergola systems, insulated pergola systems, automatic screens, outdoor audio. I mean, everything is meant to entertain and really improve lifestyle. But before getting into the design and the materials and all of the product selection, the things that make outdoor kitchens sexy and amazing, let's talk about what people should know if they live in an HOA, or even if they don't live in an HOA, things that they might need. Like, do outdoor kitchens need permits, or can you do it without a permit? Like, what goes into that for what homeowners should know?
So the kitchen itself does not need a permit. It constitutes a freestanding unit.
Right.
So it could be removed if need be, or if comes a hurricane.
It's basically like a piece of furniture, just like any grill. You can move it, but
it is a piece of furniture.
Right.
Now, what does require permits is if you're running water, electrical, sewer, gas.
Gotcha.
That does require a permit. Living in an HOA or in a community that does not have one doesn't change the need or the necessity of getting permits. That is, the HOA just wants to know and be secure that you're not changing the environment, you're not changing the look of the community.
Right.
Most people go into communities for the safety, for the look, so they just want to make sure that you keep that. The permits is something directly with the managing county or city.
Without a doubt. And that makes sense because, the reason why there is a board or committee within a community is to keep the integrity of the look, everything that goes into it. Building a 15-foot water slide or doing something that might not be permitted or might not be approved. But, going into, the build out itself. in the initial stages. So obviously you figured out the location, you figured out, general feel. Talking about, the materials and durability of materials and how they've evolved and what you're using and really what you were using, I guess, when you started this company and how those materials have evolved and what you're putting in your kitchens today.
So the materials make a big impact. Of course, it does impact the price as well.
Right.
But this is not, something that's $20 and that you can dispose of and you want to redo in 6 months or in a year. So we have come up with a system to where it makes it easy and convenient for the homeowner. All of our structures, for example, are made out of welded aluminum. We build them in our shop. So when we get to the homeowner's house, half of the job it's already done. So it makes the process a little faster while still making it feel like a custom job, creating that, perfect, ideal kitchen for somebody. And the materials, everybody has to do their due diligence and the research and make sure that both the company, it's in good standing, it's a good, decent company that's going to stand by their work, but also the materials that you're selecting, that you're using, are going to give you the least amount of maintenance, the most amount of durability.
Right. Absolutely. Because, it's endless options. And, we're talking about as far as, the exterior of a grill. Obviously, the fact that everything is welded aluminum for the interior, it's not going to rot. Nothing's going to happen. It's as structurally sound as you can have. But what goes on the exterior? There's things like, and I'm sure everyone has a different idea for what they want or budget restraints or whatever it might be. There's all different types of cladding. There's natural stone veneer. There's people can do stucco. They can do brick. Slats and synthetic materials, synthetic wood. There's Ipe. There's all different materials that goes into that. When you're working with somebody, because I'm sure you get a good feel for the style they're looking for, probably an idea of budget. When somebody says, "Oh, I want Ipe, exterior cladding, and all of that," are you educating them on the maintenance component and then giving them other solutions, or what does that look like in the sense of all of the different materials?
So it's funny. I always like to ask the homeowners when they're telling me, because of course we have now all these Pinterest designers that we get, right. And we have social media now that to a big extent educates the customers, right. And half of the job it's already done when you get to the homeowner's house, because they already know, I want it to look green, yellow, red. I want it here. I think this, I think that. We get in the, talking about Ipe, natural woods, natural stones, they look amazing. They're incredible materials. They're made for outdoors. We love using Ipe, for example. But I always like to ask homeowners, and I always notice a big shock when I ask, why? Right. I want Ipe, I want quartzite, I want porcelain, I want this brand. Why? Because you've done your research, because you love it, you've used it before, or you just think it's pretty. Because if that is the case, you just think it's pretty, I do think it's beautiful as well, but I want to educate you and show you want Ipe, but there's also a composite synthetic material that looks just like Ipe and requires zero maintenance, and it costs maybe 20% less. You're never going to get that amazing feel and look of the natural wood,
right?
But it looks pretty close to it. Now, if they understand the value that it's going to add to the property, the amazing look that it's going to have, but they also understand that every other year they're going to have to sand down the entire kitchen and restain it. So it's basically giving you lifetime maintenance. Then by all means, let's do it. But I always like to compare, give the homeowner options, and ask why. Why do you want this grill? Why do you want this wood or this finish? Is it because you already have a wall unit inside the house that is built with Ipe and you want to bring that flow to the outdoors?
Right.
Is it because you've always dreamed of it? You've heard it's good? Tell me the reason why, so that I can better guide you or show you what is the best thing for your outdoor.
And a lot of people, they're kind of naive to the fact of even knowing what's available in the synthetic world, because it has evolved drastically, even if you're just looking at a couple of years, but go back 5 years, 10 years. It is a different product. It is, unless you are looking at the side and really inspecting, like most people couldn't tell if it's real or natural.
And it's,
it's
over the past, 10 years probably wasn't available other than maybe one brand,
right,
that's starting to introduce the idea to the market. But in the past few years, what was taking 2-3 years to evolve 10 years ago, now it changes in 2 months.
Right.
The looks, the feels, they're making materials so realistic that it's from a picture, sometimes you can't tell if it's real or if it's synthetic.
No, without a doubt. It's absolutely incredible. And when talking about the structure of it, so obviously you guys specialize in the welded aluminum. There's other products that have come to market that are like marine grade, polymers and different products and full cabinetry and things like that. What's your opinion on that? Is it just a personal or I guess a desire as far as wanting that product versus, in my eyes, like the truly custom, design build that you guys do versus, RTA type cabinets that are just assembled? And, what's your take on that?
So the way that we do it, it's giving you more of the traditional outdoor kitchen, tiki hut, I'm next to the beach, feel.
Right.
And I think that's something that's never going to go away. Just like stack stone, all the traditional materials, that's going to last a lifetime. It's going to be around forever. Now, of course, with the new modern world evolving, materials start to come to market. We just introduced a new line where the cabinets are just like an interior cabinet, but they're made of aluminum with the same wood grain, different finishes. We're starting to attach porcelain to the face of the doors.
Okay.
And that's gonna change the game completely, because 5 years ago, if you wanted to have, a full travertine kitchen or a black kitchen with Decton, which is very popular, you weren't able to get a door that looked like porcelain.
Right.
You wanted to have, like a book match front of a kitchen, something like that. Now that is becoming available. Of course, the newest, the baddest, the most expensive.
Right, exactly.
So
that makes sense.
We have a new line also that we're bringing in, and it's made of wood.
Okay.
My first thought was outdoors, wood, Florida. Nah, I don't think so. I'll pass. Started doing research on it. They're using some glues and epoxies to put together this wood, and the manufacturers are providing 25-year warranty.
That's unheard of. There's 25 years indoors, never mind anything outdoors. That's crazy.
That's how confident they are that this wood is going to last the elements. You can soak it in water, you can hose it down every day for 25 years, and they're going to back it up. So there's so many materials that are coming to market, this new HDPE, this new marine grades. There are a lot of things that give them pluses, and there's a lot of things that give it, that reduce value from it.
Right.
They look incredible. They weigh a lot. They don't hold humidity, but they tend to warp with heat.
I was going to say, because it's still a plastic. It
is a plastic,
right,
to a certain extent. So now it's boxing up. Builders have to do their research. They have to understand the material to be able to build it.
Right.
There's not a bad material. The HDPE, started growing, incredible, made a big impact in the market, and all of a sudden it started coming down. Why? Oh, it's holding humidity.
Right.
It's starting to warp with heat. Okay, maybe the problem isn't the material. Maybe you're not ventilating it properly, that is holding too much heat.
Right.
There's ways to go around, everything. The wood now starting to come to market again for outdoors. The aluminum, like you mentioned, the RTA, those type of systems. There's nothing wrong with them if you know how to build it, if you know how to dress it up properly, in what location you're gonna put it. If you know how to work the material, every material is great. So it's really, number one, personal taste, how you want it to look, how you want it to feel. Number two, budget, because budget does make a big impact.
Without a doubt. And that all comes down to working with a professional. It's not just working with somebody that's just going to do what you say and what you ask for, because they wouldn't be helping you. You as a professional, if you just do what someone says and you don't give them other options, or you say, well, if we do this, this is something that could happen or whatever. And that's working with somebody with experience and understanding the product and understanding the applications, or how to vent it and what could, to be preventative as well. And when you talk about budget, a lot of companies, part of your job is reverse engineering it. Like if you have a general budget, you can give those suggestions, say, listen, it might be worthwhile to first select this as far as your most important component. Maybe it's the grill, maybe it's the countertop, whatever that piece is, and then start fitting everything else in to have it be the perfect unit versus just everything that you want. And then all of a sudden you realize, well, I can't afford this, or it's not the right fit, something like that. But, something I want to bring attention to, because you mentioned the metal cabinets, the aluminum cabinets and things like that, or stainless steel. Like these grills, they come in, the different metals. There's different grades to those metals. What should people know when they're selecting those types of products, in the sense of having some type of understanding to why something might be more premium, or the grade of the metal that they're putting, whether it's their appliances or whatever that might be?
So the of course, and it's part of marketing that brands either talk very good about what they have and talk about very bad about what the other company doesn't have.
Right.
Most of the time they don't have it either. But in the world of marketing, you have to show yourself as, I'm the best.
Right.
But sometimes, like you said, they reverse engineering. I'm not going to talk about how good I am. I'm going to talk about how bad they are.
Right.
Most commercial brands, the material is the same.
Gotcha.
Okay. What changes is, number one, at least to me as a builder, as an installer, a big impact to me is how responsive the company is, how well they respond to changes, to issues that might arise, and how many accessories are they able to give me to sell to my clients, and for my clients to entertain better.
Right.
Most companies, I would say 90% of outdoor grill manufacturers use 3 or 4 stainless steel.
Okay.
That is pretty average in the market. There's a few brands that offer 316 marine grade, which is very recommended for if you live near the water, if you have a waterfront property. 100% go with marine grade. Now, they offer marine grade stainless steel on the grill. The appliances, the doors, the drawers, the trash, it's all 3 or 4 stainless steel.
Gotcha.
So it kind of already killed, why would you spend double the money on a grill when the rest is 3 or 4? It ends up never happening.
Right.
If you're buying a $3,000 grill head on standard 3 or 4 stainless steel, and the marine grade cost you $9,000, I'm the first one to say, you know what, save the money. Keep the grill. If it breaks in 10 years, you have another $6,000 to buy more.
Right.
So don't overdo it for no reason.
Right.
I try to be, informative, but I like to be conscious of, budget conscious, and, give the homeowner options so that they can choose, and, they can feel happy at the end of the day. The different brands most of the time offer the same or very similar material. It's a matter of what bells and whistles are they offering? Do they have lights? What size burner? How big is the burner? How powerful is the burner? How many accessories? Am I gonna be able to buy a grill head and grill, put a rotisserie kit, have smoker boxes, have pizza stones, have griddle plates? How versatile is that grill going to be? Do I need to buy a grill, pizza oven, a burner, a griddle? How many accessories do I need? 100-foot, linear foot kitchen, or with maybe a 15-foot kitchen, am I gonna be able to have everything I want?
Right.
So that's usually how I go to how responsive and good the company is, at least to us dealers, because we like to handle the warranty process for our clients to, as an added value to help them, and how many accessories are they able to offer, do they have on their lineup?
And because when you're building an entire grill, it's nice to keep it all within the family of a brand. Say if somebody selects a brand, I assume the accessories, you want to keep it all in line. It gives it a uniform look, keeping it all on brand versus like just a mixture of everything. Because, when you look at it, there's obviously the grill. You mentioned the smoker. There's all different elements there. There's the drawers, the drawer attachments. There's refrigerator. There's ice. There's, I've even seen like hibachi tabletop type, cookers. There's the Argentinian like grills. There's so many different things that you can add to build the ultimate, backyard experience. Talking about pizza ovens. That came with, people are going crazy over pizza ovens in every single way. But it's not just a pizza oven. You can cook different things in the sense of, how a pizza oven is used, which could cross over into other forms of cooking too. So you might not need a different element.
So the pizza oven, I think, was more of a showpiece than a real appliance.
Gotcha.
Ever since they came out, they have so many colors and shapes, and you can add a little piece of wood, and they made such a big impact in in the overall look and experience of a patio and an outdoor kitchen that it got so popular so quick. It was crazy.
Are people still putting them in? Is it still popular, or is it kind of reached its peak?
Yeah, I don't think it reached its peak. It definitely went up real high. Now it's kind of stabilized a little bit. People are understanding that they're not using it as much because it hasn't created the big impact that it said it was going to.
Right.
It started selling as a pizza oven. Now there's brands that remove the word pizza from it. They just want to call it an outdoor oven,
right?
Because they want people to understand, hey, you can do a steak, you can roast, you can this, you can that. But most of them have a clearance of maybe 4 or 5 inches. So you're gonna light it up to cook one steak. If you want to really roast, then you need 10, 12 inches. So now that's what I see brands doing. They're starting to create more of that true outdoor oven concept. They're making it built in. They're trying to go more for the usage and not so much for the look.
Right.
So I think within the next year or so, it's gonna come back stronger than before.
And you were talking about, the different forms of cooking. Like obviously with an oven, outdoor oven, it could be, wood fired, it could be, gas, it could be all different elements. When we're looking at the regular, barbecue grill, there's gas, there's charcoal, there's pellets, there's, all different types. Do you have a preference of any of them, or are most people just, putting in gas? If they have a gas line, that's great. If not, they have the propane tank underneath. It doesn't restrict the ability to be able to have an outdoor kitchen. But are you seeing these other elements, or would you say, charcoal is kind of like an added feature, and it's still primarily gas?
So I think for sure 90% is gas. And the number one reason for it, it's convenience.
Right.
You get home, you were working all day, you don't have time to spend an hour, 45 minutes lighting up charcoal, getting everything nice and pretty to cook 2 steaks and be done. So the gas gives you a convenience no other grill does, which is get home, snap it on, 2 minutes, it's at its temperature, and you're out. Now, without a doubt, the taste, the feel, the experience of cooking with charcoal, it's unlike any other.
Right.
But it's become an experience. It's become a weekend project. Now, we have seen some brands that have tried to do hybrids to where it's a gas grill and you can put little, charcoal trays on top to get some of the smoke, some of the taste with the convenience of the gas. The pellet made a big impact, the world of pellet, because it's all digital.
Right.
So you have your flavored pellet and you get you can turn it on from your phone on your way home. It's all these big brands have gotten so creative. Hey, I'm leaving home. I'll be home in 45 minutes. Let me turn on my pellet grill. When I get home, it's already hot, so I can just throw the meat. They made a big impact when they came out with a concept. I think it's died down a little bit. If you ask me, you kind of lost the excitement of grilling.
Right.
To me personally,
right.
I enjoy grilling. It's an excitement. You go out to the, get home, get the kids, let's cook, let's light up the grill, let's build do a pizza, let's drink, some juices, some sodas. It's an experience. You
right.
get time to bond, you bring out the wife, you get some wine. And the pellet grill kind of takes away that because you have a phone, you're sitting on your couch, and it's telling you the meat is 129 degrees. You need to turn it off in 2 minutes.
It's like too smart.
Yeah, it's so it simplified life for a lot of people, but it also removed the experience from it. I would like to see, and we are we're working with some developers out of Brazil and Argentina to create an Argentinian mix of Argentinian, Uruguayan, and Brazilian style charcoal cooking, but made it in a compact way to where it's easy to light up, it's easy to cook, it gives you a lot of options. You can do vegetables, you can do skewers, you have rotisseries. So we're trying to do something to bring back or help push that charcoal cooking experience, which without a doubt is the best taste, best feel, but I understand time is a big impact in such a hectic and fast-paced
life is
community.
crazy, but you're right. Grilling truly is an experience. It brings families together. Like, I can't tell you, I mean, from today when I'm grilling, or growing up when my dad was grilling, like we'd all be like hanging out outside, like as he's grilling, like, you know, it's all part of it. That's why we call it barbecues. People come together and they congregate around the outdoor element, and, you know, it brings families together. But when we're talking about all that, and you're mentioning like the different styles of cooking and everything, I'm sure people, they have their gas grill for when they want to, you know, cook quickly after work, you know, make a burger, you know, whatever for the family. But then like when the green egg first came to market, and now there's a lot of different brands with the same exact concept. One of the best steaks I've ever had was off of a green egg, and that insulated type of cooking environment is incredible. Do you see those types of structures as add-ons that you see people putting into their outdoor kitchen built in?
We see it often. They started getting built in a lot, but I see people going away from it. The pellet has replaced a lot of the green egg guys, because again, you're able to get a very similar feel taste. So the pellet replaced the green egg a lot, and the traditional or the original grilling, it's a charcoal grill. It's an open fire charcoal.
Yeah.
So what I see with the eggs, it's that you're limited in space, but you're also removing the ability to cook on an open fire. So I have had I'm personally not a big egg, green egg guy. But I have some friends that have it and they swear by it.
Right.
And I've had some amazing ribs out of a green egg. But I like the flame of the grill. The gas grill, I think, to me beats it. When I want to have that charcoal experience, I'll go with open flame.
Gotcha. Awesome. And when going into like all of the other components, the refrigerators, ice makers, all those different small features that can be added into a kitchen, how do you prioritize them? Like, is there like a go-to that you're suggesting to people, like you should have this in your outdoor kitchen?
I think that goes back to, what are your needs?
Right.
What is your day-to-day like? A lot of clients say, hey, my kitchen is right here, or it's just me and the wife. We'll cook on a daily basis. We like, healthy food. We like grilling. Let's go outside. I don't need a sink.
Right.
I don't need a fridge or a sink. It's great to have. Is it 100% necessary? No.
Right.
The main reason is it adds water, it adds sewer, it adds the sink, it adds the faucet. So sooner than you're in a couple grand for something that you might not use as much.
You're right.
A fridge, I think it's a must because, like you said, family comes together. You're going to spend a Sunday with a family. You're going to make some sausages. You're going to make some steaks. You're going to make some ribs. You're going to make some wings. You want to come outside with your family, have refreshments, but also be able to bring your trays of food out once when you start cooking and be done and entertained. You don't want to every 30 minutes go back inside the house, bring the ribs. Now ribs are done. Go back inside the house, bring the sausages. So I think the fridge, I will pick the fridge over a sink. They're both very convenient. The burners are a big plus. Again, if you have a heavy enough and a powerful enough grill, you can put a skillet inside your grill,
right,
and you can avoid having the burner. But the burner allows you to have the extras. Hey, I'm making the steaks in the grill. I'll do the vegetables in a skillet. It's all about getting that experience, being able to use everything at the same time and have a fully functional kitchen.
Without a doubt. And you were talking about before, ventilation is something. And I want to talk about two aspects of the ventilation. One being the hoods, the other underneath the grill. Because a properly ventilated, and we'll talk about underneath the grill part first, properly ventilated grill area, there's a reason for it. You don't want to have the buildup of the gas, of the propane, whatever it might be. But, how do you guys approach that in the sense of like a properly ventilated grill system for the grill area first, and then obviously talking about whether or not a hood is really needed?
So the inside part of the kitchen, there's two things to consider, and everybody's first thought is accumulation or buildup of gas.
Right.
That is very important, but that's kind of like the last thing on the list of things that you need to worry about. the accumulation of heat is the most important one, because even a little bit of gas with a lot of heat will make a big kaboom.
Right.
With the other way around, it wouldn't. If you have a lot of gas accumulated with a little bit of heat, nothing happened. Eventually, it's going to go away. And it's not something that is standard because of the design look. So you don't want to have one exit in the right, one exit in the left. No, if you're, depending on how your kitchen is designed, you just need to make sure that there is a way for air to come in, there is a way for air to come out, so it's properly ventilated. It changes if it's natural gas or propane. One is more dense, you put it in the bottom. One is more light, you put it on the top. Under the grill, and we get this a lot, everybody wants, you're dressing up your kitchen with granite, composite, whatever. They want the walls to go all the way and touch the grill. They don't know how important it is to right underneath the grill have a nice big gap, so that immediate heat that is coming off of the grill exits the kitchen right then and there.
Right.
But properly ventilating the kitchen is very important for humidity, for gas, for heat. So it's nice to have. Now it's just a matter of the builder knowing how well the ventilation needs to be and getting creative on how to make it, because those big
you don't want to
stainless
see
steel
that.
vents aren't pretty.
Right.
So it's a matter of, are you doing stone? Then let's, do some nice lines on it, kind of going with veins. Let's get creative. You're doing wood, let's get a drill and let's do a bunch of little tiny holes next to each other so that it ventilates, it gets the job done, but it doesn't look like a big stainless steel rack.
Right.
But it is very, very important to have a properly ventilated kitchen. The vent hood on the top, it's more, they don't get used as often. They're also very expensive. So a lot of people, you get there and you're like, damn, $3,000-$4,000 for a vent. When my kitchen's done, I'll think about it.
Right.
It's not as important as you think, unless you're up against the wall in a corner where you 100% know that the smoke is going to touch the roof, come back, and it's going to create very smoky terrace. If you're in a screen cover, covered patio, things like that, then it becomes a little bit more important. But most houses in South Florida, we have a lot of wind. The kitchens tend to be in one corner where there's a good breeze. So they don't get used as often. They aren't as important because of it, or not as important, but as used. A lot of people don't mind if you have a charcoal grill or if you have a green egg to where there's going to be a lot of smoke, then it becomes a little bit more necessary.
Yeah,
but
that's different.
Most people with a griddle and a charcoal grill and a gas grill, you don't really, unless you're burning chicken, you really don't get
right.
that.
You might be checking the way that you're cooking before anything. But, and also the other thing is, it's easy to install a fan to circulate air and things like that underneath the covered area.
It helps out. It helps out as well.
And, when going into, everything and talking about, the budgets, is there and I know this is a question that it could be absolutely anywhere, but is there an average budget range from introductory? It can go as high can go, but what should somebody be looking at if they're thinking about, I really want that outdoor kitchen, but they have no idea what it should be, because, having that range for it being done right, with the appliances, with everything that should be in it for what that starting point could be.
So, of course, brand finishes makes a big impact in the overall price. If you're choosing a super luxurious brand, you're not going to be nowhere near the budget versus if you're choosing a premium but entry-level brand. I think $10,000 to $15,000 will get you a very comfortable and a complete kitchen. With a $10,000 to $15,000 kitchen, you can get a 10 to 12 feet setup with a good quality grill, some storage, a fridge, a sink, and maybe a trash. Okay, I don't think, if you ask me, that's the ideal kitchen. Grill, few drawers, storage for propane, trash, fridge, sink. You have everything you need in there. You have refreshments, you have prep area, you have storage, you have a good quality grill. And I think within that range, with some, again, finishes make a big impact in the overall price. But I think that's a fair assumption and price range for a kitchen.
Yeah, because you talk about, all the materials and go in, something we didn't touch on as much that I think is extremely important that can completely change the budget is the countertop. because a lot of people, you can't look at the outdoor countertop the same way as an indoor countertop, because indoor people are doing quartz, they're doing any material you want. But I want to touch on that quick because it is something that is probably one of the biggest questions that you get, saying somebody says, and there's so much information out there, like, everyone says like, this is the only surface or this is the best surface. What's your take on countertop surfaces for the outdoor kitchen?
So there are, and just like on different finishes, porcelain and man-made stone have made a big impact in the overall selection and options available. And what I like about it is that with man-made stone, like porcelain, deck stone, silestone, sinter stone, you're able to choose the exact color and finish that you want. And you're not subject to the variation of natural stone. I think that's the beauty of it. The natural stone, each one has their own unique piece of nature.
Right.
But when somebody wants a very specific color or finish or look, that's what man-made stone is going to give you. Okay, they're getting very good in quality. They're getting very creative with the finishes. They're basically recreating a natural stone, but with a very exact finish and without any natural imperfections. They're very good. They're still a little bit pricey. They're a little bit more difficult to fabricate. They don't require any maintenance, so that's a good plus to porcelains or man-made stones. But they're still somewhat fragile. They cannot take the beating that, for example, a good quality granite or a good quartzite can take you. Okay, my go-to is always granite. It's the cheapest, is the most durable, the least maintenance. It's got everything to win. It can take heat. It requires very little to no maintenance. You can cut on top of it. I think it's got everything you need to win. It holds the heat. It holds the elements. It could be in the cold and the heat, the rain. I think granite is the way to go. Now, of course, designers come in the picture and you start getting, I want black with veins and this and blue and yellow and red, and they start getting creative, and you have to make a little jump to maybe a quartzite, which is a little more of an exotic stone.
Or premium, yeah.
Yeah, it's a more premium stone, so that brings up your budget a little bit higher. But it's got the same quality of a granite, but just a more exotic look. But if you ask me, granite is the way to go.
But quartzite is not porous. It's a hard material, or it's a natural stone.
It's a natural stone. It is a porous material. If you leave something on it rusting for a week, it is going to give you a little stain. That's where number one, user maintenance come, or proper care.
Right.
Most of the stones come already sealed from factory. When we cut them and we install them, we apply them another coat of sealer. It's not like your paver sealer or like your floor wood sealer, anything like that. It's very easy to apply. It is very economical. I think it costs like $10, $15 on Amazon to get a good granite sealer. And it's like a water. Just use it once, spread it out, clean it, and the stone will basically absorb and kind of repel the liquids that are left on it to make the maintenance and the upkeep easier.
Right.
But it doesn't really require that really heavy maintenance. I think granite is the way to go.
No, absolutely. Because, there's so many different materials, and people, they're going to ask every single question, and, they see different things. They read different things. Like even I heard something recently, like people were comparing, which it is extremely comparable, quartzite to dolomite, but dolomite is very, very soft, more porous, looks very similar. But also it was mentioning, like, pay attention to the finishes, because if you have if you have more of a matte or leathered finish for the outdoors, things won't be as noticeable as if you have like a high gloss that can wear with sunshine and everything else. So it might be better to start at that dulled version in the sense of whether it's leather or matte or whatever it might be. Is that something that you guys...
So they all have their little plus and cons. The materials, if you're going, let's say a dolomite, you're going with a marble, that is something that the sun is going to crystallize it and it's going to stain it. So that's why we like to stay away from marbles. We like to stay away from quartz for the outdoors. The granite doesn't tend to fade as much. Now, in regards to the finishes, when you have a fully gloss, super smooth finish, it is very easy to clean because there's no surfaces, there's no holes. But yes, every little bit of dust is noticeable from a mile away. Now you have a leather finish material, and it hides a lot of the dirt, the dust, the imperfections that you might see, but it also has indentations.
Yeah.
So it tends to hold dirt and dust and stuff in there. So you never know which way is the best to go with.
And it goes down to preference. And to your point, people are thinking granite and they're thinking of their grandmother's kitchen.
Yep.
Granite, there's a lot of granite out there that you would not even know is granite. You know, there's beautiful selections out there. It's just a matter of, going to one of the, the slab specialists and looking through their selections and really seeing what is available.
And also the way these manufacturers and these mines have gotten also very creative in the way they cut the granite. Like back then, we had a block of granite or a block of marble, and you cut it from top to bottom, and you always get the vein from left to right or from right to left. Now they're getting creative. They're getting the same materials that grandma and grandpa had, with all the speckles and all those, browns and yellows and greens on it. And they're starting to cut it instead of from top to bottom, from left to right. So now you're getting a little vein here and there. They're starting to cut it at an angle. They're doing different finishes to it, which change the look of the stone completely.
Same stone, different look.
Same stone, different look. So they're always coming up with new ideas to make the same material that is very accessible and very economical, make it look better and make it fit the new trends.
And going off of the maintenance and the upkeep and things like that, because it's not just the countertop surface. It's like we mentioned before, the maintenance if you have natural wood. What would you suggest to people as like a normal maintenance that they should do once they have their custom outdoor kitchen? Is it just rinsing it down with a hose? Is there anything extensive that people should know when it comes to properly maintaining to add as much longevity as possible to their outdoor kitchen?
So of course, the better you maintain it, the more durability or the bigger life spread that you're gonna get, looking amazing. The appliances, at least the ones that we use and the brands that we like to work with, most of them give you a lifetime warranty on their finishes. Their stainless steels are giving you 15, 25-year warranty on a composite, things like that, against fading, warping, that type of issues that come with other materials. For appliances, you have to think of metal, stainless steel being hydrated. Right. You have to hydrate the metal. So there are a lot of liquids and chemicals and materials that you can use for the stainless steel to keep it hydrated. My go-to, WD-40.
Okay, makes sense.
It keeps it hydrated. It repels water from it. If there's no water staying on top of your appliance, there's no rust, there's no stain, which there's a big misconception about it. When you see a little yellow mark, it's not rust. It could be just water that stayed on top of the stainless steel and created a little stain. You can take that off very easily. Most stainless steels won't rust, where the rust will not penetrate the stainless steel. So as long as you keep it properly hydrated, you will not have any issues with it. Most composite materials, same thing. A WD-40 would hydrate it properly and will give you a very easy maintenance on it. For the countertop, you want something that you can just hose down. Your overall kitchen. You want to be able to hose it down, pressure clean it. If you're using a natural stone, like a stack stone, a vertical stone on the sides, you want to try to keep it sealed, and you want to be able to keep the dirt off of it. At the end of the day, it's a marble, it's a travertine, so it's going to penetrate. If you keep grease on it or stains or something rusty, it's going to penetrate the stone. So you want to keep it as clean as you can to have that optimal look always.
And we talked about, you touched on warranties as far as what your manufacturers, the ones that you work with, typically give. Would you say, what would the normal warranty, what is a builder, as far as like yourself, someone that's creating the actual outdoor kitchen, what type of warranties or things should people know should come standard? Because, there's a lot of professionals out there. There's a lot of legitimate, there's a lot of illegitimate, there's a lot of companies that, are here and they're not. But what should somebody know as far as a standard offering that a right company should be offering when they're doing the outdoor kitchen?
So standard construction warranty is 1 year.
Right.
Okay, that's standard even for insurance purposes. The moment you start getting creative and you tell your insurance company, I'm going to offer a year and a day, premium start their KI
Right.
because they're not used to it. So construction itself, labor, quality of labor, it's warranted for 1 year. Now the appliances and the finishes have different looks. You're choosing a granite, there's nothing really to go wrong with it. It's fabrication, so that's where labor comes in. You're choosing a composite, let's say for your wall sidings, to cover the walls of the kitchen, to wrap up a wall, whatever you're doing with it. The material, the labor, the way it's installed, we're giving you a year warranty on workmanship, but now the manufacturers are giving you between 5 and 15-year warranty on the material itself. And a lot of times they're telling you, if anything goes wrong with the material where it warps, it fades, it loses color, it gets stained, whatever they're giving you warranty against, they would a lot of times cover the material, but also cover the labor for us to go back, remove the old one, install the new one. So a lot of manufacturers do that. And in regards to appliances, standard electronic, it's a year, 2 year, 5 year, depending on what you're doing. Most refrigeration companies are giving you 1 year warranty. Now there's a few that are doing 2. I think there's one that is bumping it up to 5.
Wow.
But standard, it's 1 to 2 year warranty on electronics. For grills, cooking parts like burners, the cooking grates, the flame tambers, that type of interior products, they're giving you 1 to 5 year warranty. And a lot of brands are giving lifetime warranty on their stainless steel. Amazing. Meaning if they know it's a proven brand and they control the quality of the stainless steel well, they're giving most of the ones that we're working with lifetime warranty on their stainless steel. If anything happens to the stainless steel, it gets rusted, it fades, it gets stained, anything like that, the brand will replace the unit.
That's amazing. And those are all important things because, when hiring a contractor, it all comes down to hiring the right contractor. You've been doing this for a long time. You've probably had people who have hired somebody else and you've come in and had to save the day and fix it. What should people know? Like, what questions should they ask when they are getting these quotes, when they're talking to professionals to create their dream, outdoor kitchen?
So I would say a very important thing is knowing where to reach them, having a place to go back to them and be able to provide or get from your contractor either a license if they need one, insurance, get a certificate of insurance done to your property in case anything happens. It is untrue or it's not anybody's goal in the industry to do something wrong.
Right.
I don't think there is a single contractor out there that wakes up and says, I'm going to mess somebody's house today. Those are accidents, right, and things happen. We're humans. Okay. Absolutely. Now you have to make sure that whoever you're working with is able to come back and fix it. So you have to take care of your part of the job, which is choose a contractor that's licensed. If whatever you're doing requires a license, that they're insured, that you're able to go back to an office, you're able to go back to, somewhere and have something to have somebody answer for whatever got done to you. Okay. Reviews online are very good. A lot of times a good customer or a happy customer goes back and says something good. Out of 10, maybe 1 goes back and says they did a good job.
Right.
An unhappy client almost every time goes out and says, hey, they did a crappy job. Right. So reviews are good, but also seeing, and I think that's the most important one, seeing how many things they're able to take care of for you.
Absolutely.
Is it going to be a contractor? Are you hiring a handy guy that is going to be able, that knows a guy, that knows a guy, that knows a guy? Or are you hiring a company that has a licensed plumber, electrician that is able to fabricate your granite, that is able to provide a variety of appliances for you? How complete is your contractor? I think that is the most important thing when choosing somebody, because you don't want to create a chaos in your construction and have 10 different contractors working at the same time, unless you want your patio project to take 5 years.
And then you never know who's there or, who's controlling the project or who's doing what.
And it becomes his fault, their fault,
right,
your fault, my fault. Nobody wants to take the blame, but also nobody wants to get the project delayed. I think that's when we come in and, you want to get your pool done, your pavers, your kitchen, your pergola, your turf. If it is outdoors, we do it. And I think that's very important. Once you've done your research, you have a good feeling with a company, with a sales guy, they're a reputable company. The next besides budget, is how many headaches is this guy going to save me?
Right.
How many things is he going to be able to do for me on a timely manner, on a good quality, so that I don't have to go out of my way and manage 5 other contractors at the same time.
Without a doubt. And we all know these projects are meant to grow. I mean, a lot of people, they finish their kitchen, they're like, you know what? I've been thinking about doing, whether it's the turf or pergola, whatever it might be. But I want to touch on, innovations and trends, as far as, first of all, what is the biggest outdoor kitchen trend that you would identify as today?
Right now, griddles. The griddles are coming back like hotcake. For many, many years, it was the same traditional little 20, 30-inch griddle with nothing on it. Now they're getting very creative. They're getting very versatile. They're adding meat probes and they're making them bigger and they're adding accessories to it. The cooking experience on a griddle, it's really nice and fun because you're able to grill one side, do rice on the other, do vegetables. A lot of times when you're grilling, vegetables is out of the question.
Right.
Because it's falling through the gaps and you're doing shrimp, but it's coming out dry. And the griddle gives you the ability to cook all those things or a lot of things at the same time. And it's bringing back the family experience to grilling. It's helping the family gathering be more fun and entertaining. The kids are loving it. Everybody gets around the table and you're cooking in the middle and the kids, you're creating your own little hibachi chef at
Absolutely.
home. They're making a big comeback. Brands are getting very creative with that on the other kitchens.
And then would you say that as far as, because when we keep talking about entertainment, a lot of times with entertainment comes audio, comes video. Are those components things that people are bringing up in the sense of adding a big TV somewhere around the outdoor kitchen or extra audio, speakers, things like that?
So they are very popular. I don't think they have reached a level yet to where the volume has created a niche for the everyday client to be able to afford it.
Right.
It has always been available. It is still available, but at a very premium.
Right.
The outdoor TVs are still running 4 or 5K for a little tiny TV.
Right.
Audio, good quality audio is still costing you $4,000 or $5,000 for 4 speakers. It's good to have, but it's not. It doesn't get done enough because good quality hasn't met good price yet
for the masses.
Yes, for the masses,
without a doubt. And then what can you say to the future of outdoor kitchens? What trends do you anticipate, or what do you think the future of outdoor living spaces are going to look like in 5 years, 10 years down the road?
I think stainless steel, it's going away. I think colors are coming just like they did.
Like powder coated?
Yeah. We see already all the big brands, all the designer brands starting coming out with color ceramic coatings and powder coating on the grills. This new aluminum cabinets and wood cabinets are making a big impact. All this new white and black world, super modern, starting to push it that way. And of course, we're in South Florida, we like colors. We're already seeing green, green, orange grills, blue grills. I think those are starting. The big brands are getting the hang of the colors and the finishes with a good quality, and we're seeing it go down the pipeline. We already see all the big guys doing it. In the next year or two, it's gonna be available for all the popular traditional brands. I think we're gonna see a decrease in stainless steel look, at least.
Right. In thinking about powder coated, doesn't that add life to the metal as well? It gives it another layer of protection.
If it's done
or
properly,
it's easier to clean.
If it's done properly, yes. Now, one thing that we have to take into fact is how much of a beating is a ceramic coating or a powder coating going to take. Right. You don't want to be grilling and grabbing it with a little towel to softly place it. No, you want to grill, your kids playing with something and somebody's gonna hit it, or something's gonna fall if it's open. You don't have a covered area. Coconut's gonna fall. I don't know, something. A bird's gonna sit on it. So it's gotta be able to take a hit, and that's where the big brands, the ones that are able to afford the best quality process because they're they're selling a premium, are doing it. Now it's figuring out how can we make it affordable for everybody and being everybody's home.
Without a doubt. Now I'm going to ask you to paint the picture. In Manny's world, the ultimate perfect outdoor kitchen. What does that look like?
Well, last year I built one that we've enjoyed a lot, and I think it's got the setup to where you do not need to leave your backyard. I wanted to add one more thing, but the wife didn't let me, which is
we'll get to that. That's if I could add something else.
Yes,
what would it be? But
and it was an open fire charcoal grill.
All right,
because the hair gets messed up and the smell and the this, and we're partying. So I ended up getting one, but I got it on a cart and I have it.
You can put it away.
I go cooking on the corner of the house.
Right.
Grill, good size grill is very important.
And good size, you mean what size?
I think a 32 is a decent size.
Right.
It lets you cook. It lets you cook multiple things at the same time. Now, if you have a little extra on the budget, a good 42-inch grill, you're able to have your grill on one side doing vegetables and still have a full size grill on the left. You're able to have some charcoal trays, some wood chips for the day that you don't want to light up your charcoal and give it a little bit of a smell. I didn't have the space to put a pizza oven, so I upgraded to a heavier power grill, and I have 2 pizza stones that I put inside my grills. And on Sundays, I bring in the nephews, the kids, and everybody makes their own little dough, and everybody makes every kid makes their own pizza. Fridge, an ice maker, cooler drawer for the large Cuban parties. Of course, we gotta keep the beers cold. A sink and a power burner. A ton of counter space, and a very important in a little corner, you need to have a keg.
There you go.
That's a perfect kitchen for South Florida.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And when going through everything and all the projects that you've done, what would you say is like the absolute most memorable or best project that you've ever done for a client?
Best project. Wow, we've done a lot of good, pretty stuff.
Is there any that really stands out?
There was one project that we did, and we actually got the client at the home show. Guy came in very prepared. Here's my design. I have a render. This is my patio. This is my budget. Can you do it? And we made an appointment with him the next day before coming back to the show. Met at the property. He had an old pool. We added a spa. We added a tanning ledge. We did a wood deck. We did a louver pergola, outdoor shower, landscape system, turf, marble patio, kitchen. It was a massive project. It was a beautiful project. They chose what I thought at the moment were very overpowering colors, because the plaster was like a very light blue, but the raised pot was like a really strong blue. And then the wood deck, the composite deck, was a really bright teak, and all the colors the pavers were blue pavers. We had a fire pit with some Cuban tiles on it. Like the turf was a very bright green. Like all the colors were very, very strong. And I was like, ooh, when all of this starts clashing, we're going to have a problem. It ended up turning to be an amazing project. They created it amazingly. They put a little yellow umbrella in one corner. I don't know how they managed to get all those colors, which I noticed after with the landscape, which made a big impact. The flowers tied in all the colors together. I was near our new office there in Miami Shores. The colors made it beautiful. I think that's been one of the most complete and beautiful projects that we've done.
Might need to get some pictures of that.
We have to
put that out.
We have to do some shootings there.
Yeah, without a doubt. That sounds absolutely incredible. And you mentioned, so you've been a part of the home shows for years now. Yeah. To us, having someone like you is what the home show is all about. You go in all in every single show. I mean, if anybody has seen your displays, it is memorable. You have the pergolas, multi-layered pergolas. You have louvered. You have beams. You have different colors. You have, I don't know, like 5 different actual kitchens. You have these big booths. But How has the home show helped you and your business and really evolve?
I mean, I think being there itself makes a big impact. It gives the company a recognition in the market. Or if this guy is able to come to the show, put this big thing together, you know, he must know, or he must be recognized. So I think it gives us credibility to be at the show. The show helps us reach clients that are both ready to buy, but the client that is also planning and doesn't know. It is very hard to put together those really big displays, as you know. We're one of the last ones to leave almost every day.
First one in, last exactly.
So it takes a lot of work, but it helps us be different. It helps us give the client an idea of what a $5,000 kitchen, $10,000, $20,000, and $50,000 kitchen looks like, and it also gives us a lot of connections within the trade. You guys always have a lot of amazing designers in there. We always end up helping them in one another way. We always get a lot of builders, a lot of developers from the show. Some close, some done. That's on us. That's quality of sales. But the shows, they truly have made a big impact in the growth of the company. It's given us credibility. And of course, it's always fun to close a few deals at the show and make some quick money there.
Absolutely. And I see you also creating relationships with the other vendors and everything too, even seeing new products and materials introduced to the market. But it's amazing having you. And, you know, that's truly what the show is about. It's giving people the platform, the canvas to be able to be what they want, show what they want, and differentiate themselves in a way that's difficult in just other forms of marketing and media.
Yep.
So any final thoughts? Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want people to really walk away from this episode?
No, I think you did your homework pretty good. You got it all. You got it all packed down. We talked about the good. We talked about the bad. You know, choose your right contractor. Don't be afraid to be creative outdoors and find what you're going to enjoy the most. Give us a call and we'll find a way to do it for you.
And ultimately, really, this is how, if you like open concept, this is how you truly bring indoors out and create that entertaining experience, the family experience. But for everyone who's listening that wants to contact you, what's the best way?
So our social media is always has all of our information, info@myluxuryoutdoors.com. We have our cell phones or direct lines that you can call. 786-899-7563. You have our website, myluxuryoutdoors.com. We are listed on the home design and remodeling show as one of the vendors. And if you have a few minutes, make it to the next event. They are by far the best home design and remodeling shows in Florida.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. And for all of you, like Manny said, we are Florida's premier destination for everything home design and home improvement. Visit the next home design and remodeling shows coming up in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, as well as Palm Beach. Visit our website at homeshows.com. Follow us at FL Home Shows. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to get all of the latest and everything that you could want in home design and home improvement. But until next time, stay tuned for the next episode.